morning and thank you for joining us on today's edition of the program, the Editors Roundtable on Family Love 97.7 FM Port Harcourt. The Editors Roundtable is a program of news and current affairs. On the program, we discuss topical issues and matters that will shape the nation-building process of the country. Therefore, we beam our searchlight on politics, health, education, economy, and other issues. And of course, today we are having a special guest in the studio and, of course, a very interesting topic. And therefore, on today's edition of the program, the topic is Toyin Prince Will and his socio-economic all-embracing one-point agenda for Rivers State. And let's begin with the prologue to today's edition of the program. All over the world, the agitation for deepening good economic policies for overall socio-economic dividends for the people have remained strong. In countries where economic situation seems dwindling, the citizens and government alike also strategize on steps to move from economic misfortune and join the League of Nations with improved living conditions occasioned by sound economic policies. In our contemporary Nigerian society, no doubt, with the three-tier of government functioning through and among a nexus of economic and political influences, leaders with courage to drive home sound economic policies that will create employment opportunities for the citizenry should be our desires, rather. In Rivers State, during Governor Rotimi Amaechi's first term in office, someone in the Rivers State Economic Advisory Council was commended for his initiatives that led to the successes recorded in the government economic drives. He is Toyin Prince Will. Toyin Prince Will is a young businessman with sound economic blueprint and willingness to improve on the living conditions of Rivers people. Toyin Prince Will has a BSc in Petroleum Engineering at the University of Port Harcourt. He also has a master's degree in Mineral Resources Engineering at the Imperial College London. Toyin Prince Will started off his career with Royal Dutch Shell. He also worked briefly with the UK's Oil and Gas Regulatory Agency, the Department of Trade and Industry. He was the Chief Technology Officer of Panasonic in the United Kingdom and served at the Global Asset Management Desk of Citibank. He later moved into private business and established the River Drill Group of Companies, Nigeria, where he is the chairman. His business interests are both in the upstream and downstream oil and gas, information technology, environmental waste management, and aviation services. On today's edition of the program, the Editors Roundtable, Toyin Prince Will is our guest. My name is Atta Awaji Anthony presenting, and you can join us later on the program by calling these numbers, regular numbers, 070-13580-988 or 070-530-68728. Or better still, you can reach us live if you dial these other numbers, 080-9658-7509. Or you can do an SMS to this number, 090-9408-0079. Or you can join us live on our Twitter handle at LoveFMPH977. And our guest will be introduced after this short break.
The Editors Roundtable, a news and current affairs program on Family Love 97.7 FM Port Harcourt. Join us at 5 minutes past 11 every Monday as we discuss issues in the polity. Let's add flesh to the bony structure called news. Editors Roundtable on Family Love 97.7 FM. Don't miss it.
Alright, thanks for remaining glued to your #1 radio station here in the southeastern part of the country. And I have in the studio one of the most articulate, one of the best brains in our contemporary politics in the world. And I'm talking about Prince Toyin Prince Will. So it's nice to have you on today's edition of our program, the Editors Roundtable.
Thank you. I'm not sure. Was it me you're talking about?
It is you.
Me, I'll just be an ordinary regular guy.
Okay.
Right brain and all this grammar way they speak.
It's nice to have you on today's edition of the program.
Thank you.
All right, let's start straight away. And you've been busy in politics and canvassing for both. But how do you describe the political landscape in the country and Rivers State in particular?
I think the political landscape is very tense, very dynamic. If you think about it, it's clear that change is about to come. Things are about to happen. Definitely at the state level, there is a big shaking. And I think if God wants to do a new thing, what normally precedes a new thing is a bit of shaking. So I think it's good. Politics will no longer be business as usual. That is quite clear. And, we've got some new electoral processes. We have card readers, we have PVCs. And if we want to go by the Ekiti and Oshu state examples, that significantly reduces the incidence of electoral rigging. We know that we should not expect 100% free and fair election. Anybody who is expecting that is being naive. But clearly, politicians have to work harder, which can always and is always a good thing.
All right, thanks for that. And but one would say that you are very optimistic about the forthcoming election. However, you've been campaigning extensively, appealing to electorate to vote you as governor, but the elections have been postponed. How do you describe the development?
Well, I think maybe they were looking at me when they postponed the election, because for us, our campaign was just beginning to warm up. So this postponement now allows us to take it to the next level, which is hot. So as far as I'm concerned, it's fantastic news, but I have to be beyond selfish. I have to think like a leader. And as a leader, the truth of the matter is that the extension would help us further deepen our democracy. I think now more people will pick up their PVCs. There is no way that you can look at a 60% collection rate and say that it's satisfactory. So if we're going to use that or this period to get to 70, 80, 90%, then of course it means that more people will participate in the election. And nobody wants to be a governor or a president with minimum amount of votes. You want to get as many people involved in that process as possible. So I think it's good. For me, I see it as a welcome development. When I heard especially the APC protesting very loudly and asking for the election to hold immediately, I knew there was something wrong. So I find that on balance it's a fantastic development, and we have an additional 6 weeks for the presidential election, and of course 8 weeks for our election, to make sure that the Rivers people and the people of Nigeria hear our message.
Now, recalling the excuses or the reason given by the INEC chairman for the postponement of that election, do you think even in the next 6 weeks that the security challenges could be curtailed to a level where elections would be allowed to go on as rescheduled?
Well, for some of us, one of the things I've learned in politics from a short stay in politics is not everything that you hear is what you hear. Are citing security situation. I believe that it's more than that. I think there's more to it than meets the eye. But as long as they're within the constitutional requirement, which is to hold an election within 30 days of handover, it's not a complete disaster. I think what we need to do is look at the positives. We can complain, protest if we like. Some people tried it. It's not going to change anything. The elections have been postponed. We just need to dig deep and get on with it. But I can assure you that there is more to it than meets the eye. And the reasons for the postponement are a lot deeper than I think people are seeing. But there's no point getting into that. Let's just focus on what is and what we cannot change, which is the fact that the elections are now 6 weeks ahead, and just get on with it.
All right. It's interesting because of your campaign strategies, and so let's begin to know some of them. And what are your experiences, canvassing for votes in the streets of Rivers State? Your campaign has been more of, street campaign. So what has been your experience?
Well, I came from a career, I came from a life before politics. So I'm bringing my experiences from those careers into politics. And it baffles me because politicians have deceived everybody. What politicians have done is they will gather people in the center of a headquarters somewhere in any local government. And most of those people are a hired crowd. We all know now that the going rate for 2015 is 2,000 naira per person. So you put a bus, you bring people, you pay them 2,000 naira. Sometimes they don't even pay them at all. And they will have a big packed place. They will make a lot of noise. Then they will enter their car and drive off. And they say they've gone around the state. Now for me, that is the biggest deception. because the people of the community hardly ever get involved in that process. Any politician who is going to a local government carries his crowd with him and then hires some people in the immediate proximity. Then they will say that that person is popular, that person is on ground. If you're popular or you're on ground, try doing what somebody like me does. Go to Ogoni, go door to door without security. Walk around the communities, talk to the people, then sleep there. That is when you know that you're popular. So for me, I prefer the door to door. I prefer the grassroots. I prefer talking to the people. If you are doing that one-to-one conversation, moving around the place, then you will get a true sense of what the people are thinking.
So in other words, are you saying that based on your strategy now, you are more on ground than any other governorship aspirants in Rivers State?
No, I don't want to make such statements. All I want to say is that for the places I've been, I've actually been there. I've touched those places, and I can go and leave those places knowing that those places have been touched. And I think that's what our politicians need to do. They need to come closer to the people. They need to get to the people. They need to reach the people. This idea of analog politics has moved away. We are now in a different way, in a digital era. We need to become different. Now what they do is after going around like that, they say they are popular, then they will rig elections. And everybody will say, that's how it be. No. Now people are going to use their PVCs to vote. Politicians have to work harder. So thank God for these 6 weeks. Those people who have not gone door to door around touching the people, they should do it. It's a very good experience when you hear from the people one-to-one, talk to them, exchange ideas, become accessible. Like my campaign office is not far from here. People come into my campaign office. This morning I saw over 15 people who just walked in to come and see me. That is the kind of politics that we need to preach. That's the kind of politics that we need to practice.
All right, thank you so much. But one would wonder what really was your drive for adopting this street-to-street strategy?
It's the way to go. You know, it's now a different type of politics, and if people have not understood that, then they're making a very big mistake. People are going to vote. The intimidation is no longer frightening anybody. People are going to come out and vote, and when those people come out to vote, you will see people winning an election by 300 votes, 400 votes in various areas. So for me, every vote is important. I don't want to go to a community, hold a rally in the center of that community and walk away and say that I've been to that community. It's not the same thing. When I went to Bori, I slept in the most dangerous part of Ogoni, in a place called Bera. Go and do your research. And I didn't go there with even one mobile policeman. I spent up till about 3 o'clock in the morning talking to the boys, discussing with them. Now, the kind of impact that has cannot be bought. Now, that is the way I'm going to go around the state. Now, if God forbid anything happens to me, then so be it. But that, to me, is the way to play politics.
All right, that is the way to play politics. And you've been listening to your colleagues in the other parties speaking during campaign rallies. Do you really see any clear differences between their manifestos?
Well, first of all, one of the reasons I've decided not to call my own a manifesto is that I find that manifestos don't really manifest. So I've called mine a roadmap. And no, I've not really listened to them, because most of what I've been hearing has been abuse being thrown around the place. I'm not really hearing people talking about the issues. So what I want to do is talk about the issues, and I'm hoping that as we go, we've been told recently that we will not have a debate again on Thursday. We're expecting that there will be a debate. But at some point there will be a debate where the issues, I hope, will be brought to the table. Whenever that time comes, naturally, I will be there to have my own say. And I'm sure the other candidates will also show up to also have theirs. The only other debate that I can say came close to the issues was a debate organized a couple of, maybe about a week plus ago, where we had other candidates from some of the smaller parties come and talk about their issues. And I think it was quite a robust discussion. But for me, I've said that we should not be talking too much. Really, 7-point agendas, 5-point agendas, all those things are too much grammar. What we should be talking about now is something like what we have put in place, which is a 1-point agenda. We're not here for too many issues, just a 1-point agenda. For us, it is job creation. That's our 1-point agenda.
All right. All right, we'll take you later on that 1-point agenda and other surrounding issues. But at this point, the program is still the Editors Roundtable, and the Editors Roundtable is a program of news and current affairs of Family Love 97.7 FM here in Port Harcourt. And on today's edition, we'll be discussing with the Labour Party governorship aspirant, Prince Toyin Princewill, and he's been discussing on a lot of issues. And I know that you've been itching to call in to contribute and perhaps ask questions as well. And so it is time for you to join us on the program, and then you can dial these numbers 070-13580-988 or 070-530-68728, or better still 080-9658-7509, or SMS to 090-940-80079, or to our Twitter. You can join us on our Twitter handle at LoveFMPH977. Let's begin to respond to some of the calls now. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. What's your name? And please reduce the volume on your radio set.
Yeah, I'm Anthony by name.
Okay, you can go ahead with your contribution or question, rather.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to my honorable governor. I'm calling from Afam.
Anthony, how now? How you doing?
He's responding.
Yeah, sir. So you should carry on. The Lord is your strength.
Amen.
We will conquer.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
All right. Thank you, Anthony, for calling. Hello. The numbers to call. Hello. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, you're on to the program. Go ahead. And what's your name? Please reduce the volume on your radio set.
I want to ask your guest one question.
Okay.
Hello?
He's listening to you.
I want to ask you, from 1997 to today, he has been with about 3 parties. ACN, ACN or AC then, from PDP to AC, from AC come back to PDP to Labour Party now, and next time is he doing this one for his own living interest or his interest of the River State? I want to know from you.
All right, thank you. We will respond to that later. Let's respond to another caller. Hello. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, please reduce the volume on your radio set. Sorry, we can't take that call. So you may respond to the last caller.
Okay, I think we didn't get his name, but this question has been asked me many times. Just a slight correction, my entry into politics was 2007, not 1997, but I think he meant 2007. Now, shifting from party to party is really, in my opinion, not an issue. And the reason it is not an issue is that if you're a conviction politician like myself, then your conviction is what drives you. If I am inside a house and I'm a fine girl, for instance, and my husband is beating me, and you say I should not leave that house, I should stay there until the husband beats me and kill me, I don't agree. So for me, what is more important is the message that we have, the agenda that we have. People must be given a choice, and they must be free to associate however they want to associate. Let us look at various politicians, for instance. Look at Amechi. Amechi started in a party, he moved to PDP, and then now from PDP he has moved to APC. It is not an issue if your conviction is what drives you. It is my conviction that drives me, my brother. As I'm standing here before you now, I have a message I want to deliver for the people of River State. Now, I was a loyal, very faithful member of PDP, but PDP decided to treat me like I was not. First of all, they disqualified us, amongst many other things. Now, for those people that have the dignity to remain in that place, irrespective of the kind of humiliation that they have received, and they sit down and they do nothing. For me, I'm interested in Rivers people. I want to see Rivers people move forward. I know how to do it. Then you say I should just sit down, I should do nothing, I should keep quiet, I should fold my hands, because somebody will accuse me of moving from party to party. What is the difference between the parties? Between PDP and APC, what is the difference? Me, I know the difference between me and them. So I want to show people that difference. if people now say, I've heard what you have to say, but we're not going to vote for you, it's okay. It's not do or die. But let me be there and available for people who want a difference from the same. Because we all know that APC was new PDP became APC. So at the end of the day, the difference between the two of them is nothing. So I do not want people in Rivers State not to have a choice. For me, there is a different kind of politics that we need to run. I've explained some of it, and I believe we can deliver it.
All right, thank you so much. But still on that issue, listening to you very well, one would want to know if really you were not aware of some of these issues in the PDP before you joined it. One would have expected you to, from the onset, join either the Labour Party or any other party. So why did you join the PDP in the first place?
It was, as far as I'm concerned, it was an opportunity to make things different. When Amechi first came into power, Amechi gave PDP a new face, a new impression, a new image. And that new face and that new impression and new image was very attractive. And we've all felt that PDP had some chance, some semblance of wisdom. Unfortunately, it displayed a lack of wisdom in its choice of candidate, as far as I'm concerned. So the slide back to what you might call political oblivion that PDP has put themselves through is not something that I could have predicted. But you always have to say that you must give yourself options. So if anybody thinks that Labour Party is an option that we just dreamt of at the last minute, then they don't know our political approach. The Labour Party was already put in place a long time ago. We had predicted that PDP was going to make this kind of a blunder. So we had to make sure that we were ready for it in case it happened. So we did. But we wanted to give them a chance. We wanted to at least give PDP an opportunity to say, this is the right thing, do the right thing. When they decided not to do it, we went for our option B.
All right, thank you so much. Let's respond to more calls. Hello, good morning. Hello? Please reduce the volume on your radio set. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, what's your name, please, and where are you calling us from?
This is Uzoma calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay, it's nice to have you. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah. I want to ask your guest a question. Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Something like this. We were in 2007. Later, you came back to PDP. You know, when you were driving about your ambition of PDP, they say most of you are moved. And with the way you left the party, to Labour Party, even some persons in Labour Party was against you. The way you people was against you. In that, what can you tell about people? How about that?
Well, I'm not sure what the question is, but as far as I'm concerned, the move to Labour Party was a very good move. And I believe that if you are talking about political parties that have ideology, you would struggle to find a party that has ideology like the Labour Party. It is a party that is interested in what I am interested in primarily, which is jobs. It's the only party that has a logo that has human beings in it. People. So if you look at the logo of the Labour Party, you will see Mama, Papa, Pikin. That is there. But more importantly, they talk about two things that other political parties don't even discuss, which is housing and transport. So as far as I'm concerned, the move to Labour Party was a good move. I have seen politicians and I've played with politics for a while. I have not seen committed people like Labour Party people anywhere. I'm grateful for the party of the Labour Party that I've seen. I'm grateful of the people that are there. And yes, when you come into a place, it's not everybody that will be happy. But I think 99% of the Labour Party people are happy that I'm there. I'm working fantastically with them. So I don't know what you want me to explain. I'm very happy where I am. And I've said it that this is my political history. Labour Party is where I'm going to make my political history. Whether we win this election or whether we lose this election, we're going to stay with the Labour Party and build it. Politics is not about do or die, but we definitely will do, and nobody will stop us from doing.
All right, thank you. Let's respond to another caller now. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
I'm making this call especially because I usually don't contribute to this your program, but because of the guest you brought today, I had no choice but to call. My name is Voice of Reason, calling from Iguruta.
All right, go ahead.
I want to tell the candidate of the Labour Party that I want to thank him for giving people like us who are neutral, who have already made up their mind not to participate in this electoral process, especially in Rivers State. You have given us hope. You have given us a reason to want to come out. I want you to know that it is not about winning. Even if you don't win, there's one thing you have done. You have set a precedent, and you have made it possible for us to know that in the midst of the gamut of rubbish that we have around us, there is still hope for Nigeria. Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Let's read this message. This one says, I thank God for Tony Prince-Will and also for this particular program for this opportunity to make this clarification. I have been contemplating between Tony Prince-Will, Labour, and Charles Harry. I have also listened to both of them in Port Harcourt, and I have decided to pitch my faith with Tony Prince-Will because he is more sincere in his words to me. I believe this has proven that I am not a PDP man and has been mistaken. And support for President Goodluck Jonathan. We will vote President Jonathan come 28th of March and Tony Prince-Will on the 11th of April. And you say your name is Demand. Thank you so much, Demand. Let's read.
Thank you.
Okay, let's read another message here. This one said the Prince, touting by Falga and Obiakpo boys supported by their supported by the party chairman have been a menace in the state for a long time now, as it affects investment in the state due to their harassing attitude on motorists, thereby killing job creation. How will you tackle touting in the state? John Peters.
Can I just answer that question? It's a very important question.
Yes.
John, thank you for that question because you've hit two nails on the head. And it's not easy to hit two nails on the head at the same time. But you've done that. You've talked about job creation and you've talked about touting. And what's happening now? I come up with this one-point agenda and people say when this one-point agenda is not sufficient. The truth of the matter is that the real creator of jobs are small to medium-scale enterprise. In other words, business. Government can employ people, but government cannot employ enough people. You need to move away from the idea of government employing people. Now, the small to medium-scale enterprises that employ people are constantly being harassed by a variety of issues. One of them is multiple taxation. You have other issues like power, you have issues like corruption, you have issues like access to affordable capital, you have issues like insecurity. Now, if I want to create jobs and I say I have a one-point agenda, which is job creations, I cannot create jobs unless I can create the environment for jobs to thrive. We're in a studio. I know the owner of this studio. I know this is somebody who started with 500 naira and he has built a multi-billion naira business. Now, how did he do that? He did that through sheer hard work. Very little help from government. If you can have government helping businesses like this, then more people will be employed. I will be doing that. Now, I can't do that if touts, whether it be Falga, Obiakpo, or whichever local government, are disturbing businesses. So it is people like me that can address issues like that. Simply because we understand the pains of the man. The reason why he's coming to harass people to make money is because that is what they use to survive. But if people like me can give them creative ways to engage and sustain themselves, then they will remove their hands from the business community who also need to create jobs for our people. So I know how to create jobs. I can create jobs in my sleep. I am creating jobs even now. And I've created many jobs for this state. What I just need is the power of government to create jobs for many, many, many more people. And you cannot do that with these touts disturbing businesses and disturbing people. Now, this is a problem that exists. There is a law that is about to be passed that will help. But it's not just about passing laws. We have several laws. It's about the governor taking the initiative to understand that if his people are unemployed, he is failing. It's not just because I am not going to do the employing myself, I should just remove my hand. No. I may not be doing the employing myself, but I should take a responsibility to make sure that the businesses are employing. And if they're employing, they're also employing Rivers people. And let me just say very quickly, when we talk about Rivers people, we must understand that the only way you can truly build a city or a state is if you allow people come in and help you build it. You cannot build it just from within. You need external help as well. That is why we must encourage non-indigens. That's why we must encourage foreign investment. We must encourage people to come to Rivers State. We must be a friendly, hospitable state. And one thing that we must do to do that is to ensure that at least within our state, within my cabinet, there will be nothing less than 2 non-indigent commissioners, so that they will have a pride of place in this state and know that they are welcome. I can say many other things, but I'm sure more questions will come.
All right, talking about business opportunities and the fact that government alone cannot create the needed employment for the people. And perhaps, don't you think that this is one of the reasons Governor Reuben Amaechi allegedly, sold some of the state's own assets to a private company? But you accuse him of that, and but the governor, in his usual way, said he dismissed that allegation, describing you as a small boy. And but you are here talking to millions of people. Do you still maintain that accusation?
Of course. I mean, I'm glad you said in his usual way. Amaechi is dismissive, and it's his nature. It's not something you can hold against him. He has many good points, and that is not one of them. Now, when it comes to the sale of the asset, I put it very simply. It's not complicated. Assets were sold. I've explained how they were sold. A lot of information exists on it. But you see, the media today does not do investigative journalism. They want Tanya Prince to do the investigation for them. I've given the highlights, the headlines. It is now time for civil society organizations and the media to go and dig. And I asked 6 very basic questions. I said, number 1, were assets sold? A very simple question. The government should answer it. Were assets sold? And if the answer is yes, who were the assets sold to? Then, having now agreed the assets were sold and who they were sold to, was there competitive bidding in the sale of those assets? If you want to sell something, at least people will come. You will announce it publicly. You will say that, I want to sell these assets. Can you buy? Will you buy? Come and look. If it was done publicly, they should show us where it was publicly advertised. Which newspaper? When was it announced? Okay? These are basic questions. Then I now went on. I said, having now sold these assets, say you advertised it publicly and you can prove it, how much were the assets sold for? How much were the assets sold for? And then I now asked another question, and I said simply, please, where is the money now? As I'm talking to you till today, we've not had one answer to any of these questions. And this is now maybe a month, 6 weeks since. This is the way Nigeria is being run, and this is the way the citizens are very relaxed about their own money and their own assets. And unfortunately, this is why politicians continue to take advantage, because nobody asks questions. And I was only trying to point out to my dear friend Amaechi that this is not the way to go. And the Rivers people now are going to be exposed to this reality. Now, me, I don't criticize too much. I just talk my own quietly. I keep it. But me, I expect people to also ask me questions. I also expect to be scrutinized. Scrutiny is something that any official, public official should expect. Me, I'm not even a public official, but I'm prepared for scrutiny. And to me, it's, you can make it personal. It's not personal. I'm just pointing out that if we're talking about corruption, as one of my friends used to say, don't talk when your mouth is full. So it's just a small statement that I just kept. And if the governor chooses to dismiss it as Toye being a small boy complaining, it's not, the assets don't belong to me. They're River State assets. It's something that all of us should ask.
Okay, and so we want to know, and for the sake of emphasis and for those who are listening to you, your 1-point blueprint for the Rivers people, which is an all-encompassing one. Could you please really give us an insight into that?
I want you to picture a table that has 4 legs, and on top of that table is jobs. That's the priority. Jobs, job creation. But that table would not be there and cannot stand without the 4 legs. And those 4 legs are health and education, which every government talks about. And to be fair to Amaechi, Amaechi has invested a lot of money in health and education. There are a few things I would have done differently, but health and education are very important. Now, but there are 2 other legs that the government has not given sufficient attention to. And those 2 legs are housing and transport. Housing and transport are critical. Why do I say that? Amaechi made a very, very true statement. Amaechi said, if I give you free education and free health, it will affect your pocket, because those things you spend on health and those things you spend on education, you won't have to bother about that again. At least I'm saving you those expenditure. He's right. But there is expenditure that people make every day. Transport. transport, and of course housing, which comes usually once in a year. If a government comes in and invests heavily in transport and housing, the lives of Rivers people will significantly improve. Look at, we have a one city state, Port Harcourt. I'm talking about decentralizing Rivers State, moving things outside of Port Harcourt. I can't do that without an effective transport system. I can't do that without an effective housing system. People want to be able to pay reasonable rent, but you cannot be paying reasonable rent if new houses are not being built. And if new houses being built is reliant entirely on the private sector, they will charge high rent. If you start to pump thousands of houses into this thing, it's demand and supply. Any businessman will tell you that if the supply drops and the demand goes up, the price will be high. So for you to get good housing rates, you need to have high investment in low-cost housing. As a governor, I'm going to be investing a lot of money in low-cost housing so that there will be lots of low-cost houses. And I will be encouraging the private sector to come and build much more expensive housing for the people that have the money. But me as government, let me build houses for people that don't have that money. Now, a typical example of how you can create this is that if you are decentralizing Rivers State, the first thing to decentralize is government. Because most of business in Rivers State is government. It needs to change, but for now it hasn't. So what you do is, why should the Ministry of Agriculture be in Podium Block? Move them to Bori. Ministry of Commerce and Industry, let the commissioner live in Bori. When the commissioner lives in Bori and the people in that ministry live in Bori, Bori starts to develop. It's simple, common sense. Move Ministry of Commerce and Industry to Ahoda. So by the time you start moving and decentralizing, when it's time for executive council meeting, they can drive in and come and attend the executive council meeting. That is if you don't decide to do it digitally. But they can drive in and do executive council meeting. Immediately you start to decentralize Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is too congested. People are talking about the place being too packed, but nobody is doing anything about it. And I'm afraid if people like us do not get the chance to get into government, successive governments will continue to do the same thing. The definition of madness is doing the same thing and expecting different results. We cannot continue to vote in PDP, APC, they're all the same, and then expect a different kind of government. I have nothing against APC and PDP people, but the leadership thinks the same way. We think differently, and I want to give those APC people and PDP people who are good a new type of leadership where we now say, oh yeah, all of us, let's join forces. Whether you're PDP or you're APC or come. This is Rivers State. It's not about party. We need to move away from partisanship back to patriotism. What is important is the state, not the party. Party is not important. Of course, I like my party, but I love my state more. I will never, ever compromise the interest of my state because of my party.
All right, that's quite interesting, and I'm sure the listeners would want to ask question or contribution. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling us from?
Good morning.
Yes, we can hear you loud and
My
clear.
name is Wagi. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, go ahead.
I want to ask a couple of questions.
We are sorry, the network is bad. Let's respond to another caller. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from, please?
I'm calling from Berlin. My
Okay.
name is Samson.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to ask my governor today a question. How many political party has been cross carpet in River State before this Labour Party one? Then there's issue that I want you to address very well. What kind of ambition did you have as a politician? And I can see that other people are going local government to local government campaigning for their party as a governorship aspirant. When is he going to do local government by local government doing his valet? Thank you. I want to hear from him.
All right, you will respond.
Yeah, can I? Okay.
Yes, you can respond.
Okay, Samson, I think that's a very good question in terms of the moving local government to local government. You see, some of us don't have the kind of money the other people have, and we are grateful for it because the one we have, we can explain it. Now, for what it's worth, we're going local government to local government, door to door. We will be coming to Bonny very soon. It will be announced. You'll hear it when we come to Bonny. We are not doing the kind of very noisy rallies that others are doing. And I'm sure people want to hear noise, and they will hear noise very soon. I think they postponed this election because of me. As they postponed this election because of me, you will see me in Bonny. I'm going to come to Bonny. In fact, I was talking to people from Bonny just this morning We're discussing the logistics and the planning of the Bonny rally. I hope you'll be there when we get there. We will definitely see. As for cross-carpeting, I'm not sure what the question is, but we've discussed it before. I started my politics in AC, I moved to PDP, and I'm now in Labour Party. And I'm here to stay. Now, if that is an issue for you, I always want to remind people that the political parties, especially PDP and APC, lack any ideology. So moving from one party to another is not an indication of anything other than you are moving to a place where you believe you have a better home. It is what Amechi did. It is what several politicians have been doing. It is not a problem if your agenda is people-oriented. If you are moving because of the people, it is a lot much better than if you're moving because of yourself. And my own agenda, if I wanted my own personal interest, maybe I would have stayed with Amechi. Because if I'm staying with Amechi, there will be money flowing, there will be all sorts of things happening. But the problem I had with moving with Amechi is that I have no intention of fighting the president, because the president has not done anything to deserve fighting. So if you're moving to APC to go and fight the president, it's not good. But if you're moving to the Labour Party because you want to drive an agenda which is people-oriented, then there's nothing wrong with that.
All right, thank you. And let's take on this question before we respond to more call. What would you do if elected governor of the state to boost the internally generated revenue base of the state?
Okay, there's several things that you can do. First of all, think about it two ways. Number one is that we are operating a mono economy which is strictly based on oil. And naturally, if you're based on oil, what you're waiting for is you're waiting for federal allocation. Now, if you want to increase the internally generated revenue, you need to increase the base of the business community. More people that are making money from business, the more money the state will be making. So you need to do that. That is part of what we talked about earlier. Those are the same people that will be creating the jobs for you. If they are creating the jobs for you, their businesses are moving, taxes being paid, IGR is also increasing. That's number one. But there's also, we can talk about agriculture and other things, but there's also another area that people forget that I am going to do something about. This city called Port Harcourt was built because of a single port. That port is now today literally dead. What we will be doing as a government is reviving the port. And we can revive the port with active cooperation between the state government and the federal government. Yes, the federal government has a lot of role to play in it, but state government can also play a major role as well. If state government says, okay, you know what, in this particular assignment or project, we can do A, B, C, D, E. Federal government, can you do these ones? Private sector, please come. Maybe you people can also get involved. Of course, when it comes to calming the boys in the creeks and making things quiet and peaceful, leave that one with me. Now, everything I'm saying now, I have a track record of. When it came to making peace in communities, I have the track record of doing it. I have gone to where there is war, and I've been part of a process of making peace. So if it is to calm the people in this state, which is one of the issues that is affecting that port, I can get involved. If it is to bring the kind of investors that can actually make a difference to that port, I can get involved. If it is working with a different tier of government, I have demonstrated. When I came in, I never knew Amechi from Adam before. But because of the interest of the state, I collaborated with Amechi so well that people thought Amechi and I grew up as children together. When it is time for the state's interest, I don't have time for pride, I don't have time for ego. I will roll up my sleeves and I'll work for the people of the state. And that is why if I can get that port working, you people will see IGR move from 6 to 20 billion within 4 years.
All right, thank you. Let's respond to this caller now. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. I'm Blessed Mama.
Okay, what's your name and where are you calling us from?
I am Blessed Mama.
Okay.
You see, I love this man and the way he's talking. I started listening to him yesterday evening. I did not have credit to call the station I was listening to you from. So now, I like him, I like the way he's talking. I never knew a politician will talk in this way. Are you hearing me?
Thank you, Mommy.
He's not attacking anybody. I mean, he's just different. So I think he is good. If he gets to the office there, I believe he will do well. And I know that if God help him to escape through, I believe in all he's saying and all he's vowing, he will fulfill them. I pray that he will not be corrupted by any other person and then I would like to vote for him for sure.
Mommy, thank you.
I would like to ask. I don't know where to get my PVC. They say Ward 57. I don't know where it's located. Could you just help me? God bless you. My brother, you're blessed, eh?
All right, thank you.
No, don't let Mommy, can you hear me? Okay, Mommy, can you hear me?
He wants to talk to you. You can still be on.
Mommy, can you hear me?
Hello?
Mommy, where do you
Okay.
live? What part of Rivers State do you live?
I'm staying at Piccadilly Road.
Okay, you know what you do for me, Mommy? I beg you, come to my office. Come to my campaign office. It's number 268 Aba Road, just near Market Junction.
Okay, what?
268 Aba Road. 268 Aba Road.
68 Aba Road, near Market Junction.
Near Market Junction.
Right.
Do you have a pen?
Okay.
Mommy, do you have a pen there?
If I have, yes.
Okay, let me give you my number.
Okay.
It's 0807
08
07
7
then 7 again
7
00
00
then 7 again
7
007
00
7.
7.
Just send me a text and come. We'll help you find your PVC.
Okay.
God bless you, Mommy.
All right, thank you so much for that. And let's look at, in view of the drop in oil price and other economic challenges confronting the nation, as a sound businessman, between the APC presidential candidate Buhari, Muhammadu Buhari, and President Goodluck Jonathan, who you think has what it takes to reposition the economy of the nation?
Is that one a question? Is it a serious question? You're joking a bit? Let me look at your face.
It's not a joke.
You're serious? To me, I don't even know why anybody would consider Buhari as a presidential material. To me, it's baffling. It's baffling. I don't even know if he can use an Android phone. We're not thinking well. Maybe because they don't teach history in schools, so people don't know about Buhari. And not only don't they know about Buhari, they don't know about Jonathan is not fantastic. Politicians they always say, oh, this person is fantastic, this person is useless. No. Buhari has his good sides. Jonathan has his good sides. They both have their bad sides as well. But in the scheme of things, with Jonathan, you have only 4 years of him. He does his 4 years, and I believe he will put in place something that we can work with. The fact that today Buhari is even considering being a president, he is thinking that he can win, is because Jonathan has put in place an electoral agenda that can give him the chance to win. Obasanjo would never have given Buhari this chance, as many people saw. So the fact that you are looking at an election that is open to the point where APC can even dream of winning is an indication of the kind of person Jonathan is. Now, I can go on and on, but let us just take a minute to understand this very important point. Buhari is the APC candidate. Why is he the APC candidate? Buhari is the APC candidate because he's popular in the north. That's why he's the candidate. They believe that he will deliver the north, Tinubu will deliver the west, and then whatever happens to the south and the southeast, that's our problem. Between the two of them, they can win this country. So you're telling me now that I should now be supporting somebody whose major selling point is that he is popular amongst Almajiris. That is his qualification for being our president, that Almajiris love him. My brother, please, that question is not necessarily to be asked to me. Maybe you can ask APC people why they think. But for me, it is an open and short case. Now let me explain something that people ask me. They say, oh, why are you supporting Jonathan? He did not support you. He doesn't need to support me. Politics should be about what you think is the right thing to do. Look at me now. I'll be asking APC people to vote for me. I'll be asking PDP people to vote for me. Why? Because it is not about the party. It's about the person. And you put Jonathan here, and you put Buhari here, and you start asking me what is it, party interest or party this. No. Jonathan has done a lot of good things. Forget what people are telling you, forget the propaganda. Go and look. Name a president that has done better than him. in any area, you cannot find. They talk about security. When our Niger Delta people were killing themselves here, what happened? Where were they? When Baramatu was being leveled by Yaradua, when Odi community was being leveled by Obasanjo, where were they? Which community has Jonathan leveled? I beg you.
Well, thank you so much. Time is not always on our side, and we are afraid we could not go further. But before you go, what would be your final word to those people who are really enthusiastic about the likes of the mama that called and every other person before we leave the studio?
No, listen, one thing I've discovered in politics is that if you don't talk, people will talk to you. And what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to get people to understand that I am here. Some of them are thinking that there is no choice, that it is either PDP or APC. Well, by God's grace, PDP and APC will cancel themselves out. I believe that a majority of Rivers people are not either PDP or APC card-carrying members. They're not running around wearing PDP or APC on their heads. Those people have a choice. Even PDP people, many of them have been working for PDP tirelessly, but they have nothing to show for it. Let them choose a governor who will now level the playing field, allow new faces to show, new people to grow. When you come around me, you'll find that you have a lot of young people around me. I've already said it that at least 1 out of every 3 appointments will be for youths. I've said women will be part and parcel of it. Non-indigenous will be brought into the system. If you vote for a Labour government, what you will find is that jobs, peace, prosperity and progress will be the order of the day. I want you to forget partisanship. Forget your party. Focus on your people. Focus on your community. Focus on your children. Toyin Prince-Will has a 1-point agenda, which is job creation. I cannot have jobs if I don't provide security, because the businesses will not come. I cannot have jobs if I don't educate my people. Educate them not just to get degree, but educate them for jobs. So you can see that education, security, other issues will automatically be resolved.
All right, thank you.
People, please vote for Toyin Prince-Will. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is how far we could go on today's edition of the program, The Editors Roundtable. We've been looking at Toyin Prince-Will and his socio-economic, all-embracing 1-point agenda for Rivers State. It's nice that you join us, and thank you so much for your takes and contributions. And we must thank our guest, Prince Toyin Prince-Will, for coming on today's edition of the program. Prince Toyin Prince-Will.
Comrade Prince. You didn't add comrade.
Okay. Comrade Prince Toyin Prince-Will.
God bless all of you.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Atta Awaji Anthony, asking you to stay tuned for the news at noon.